Hi, and welcome again to Young Generation Presents. I'm your host, Jim Perales. Today we have a guest here, Judge Sarah Canady. Nice for you to come. My first question is what are the responsibilities as a judge?
Thank you, Jim Perales. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. I very much appreciate the opportunity to share with you. Um, a little bit about me. I am a Justice of the Peace judge and I serve in Wilson County. I have been serving as a JP judge for 10 years.
Oh, that's very nice. What are the areas do you cover as a congressperson for the Congress District 15?
Congressional District
Congressional. I'm sorry.
15, thank you, is actually a total of 283 miles from top to bottom. If you look at the state of Texas and you go just east of San Antonio, it covers 7 counties, starting at the top: Guadalupe, Wilson, Karnes, Jim Wells. Sorry, I missed Live Oak, Jim Wells, Brooks, and Hidalgo
Can
County.
you show a little bit to the TV? This is what she's talking about, the Congressional District 15. Yeah, it's very nice. There you go.
There are 7 counties total, and they start from the top. Not all of Guadalupe County, but most of Guadalupe County: Wilson County, Karnes County, Live Oak, Jim Wells, Brooks, and Hidalgo. And Hidalgo County, of course, is split between 3 different congressional districts, but 15 is one of those congressional districts.
And my next question, what are the issues people have now that the areas you'll be representing need to change?
Oh my goodness, Jim Perales. If you have listened to the news at all, then you are absolutely aware of the crisis on our southern border. And just in the past year, there have been over 1 million people who have crossed our southern border illegally and do not have their documentation. They don't have their papers in order to respectfully come and join our country. And that's the main concern, I believe, for people in this district, especially those in Hidalgo County and Brooks and Jim Wells.
Okay. You were saying something about the oil and the gas.
Absolutely. Energy independence is so very important for America. And because if I win the nomination for the Republican Party, which is my goal at this point, is to win the Republican nomination for the Republican Party to serve as a congresswoman. Energy independence is so, so important. It's because it has to do with our national sovereignty. If we cannot be energy independent, that means we have to rely on someone else to provide our energy. And before the Biden administration was inaugurated, we were energy dependent. We were energy independent. We could rely on our own resources, our own oil and our own gas. And yes, there are other green sources of energy which we can also rely on. But at this point, that's not happening.
Okay. My next question, has there been complaints in your area of district where people complain that have never got done?
That's an interesting question.
Hmm.
If I could rephrase that, I think you're asking me if there are issues that the current congressman has not addressed. And the current congressman is Vicente Gonzalez. And as you know, he has decided not to run for this position again, which means that it is an open seat. And because it is an open seat, lots of people have thrown their hat into the ring, so to speak, to see if they can be elected to this position. There are issues that the congressman has not been able to adequately address. People in my neighborhood are very much concerned about the rise in taxes and the increases that just keep coming and coming. There seems to be a constant increase in our taxes, and yet in our liberties, in our freedoms, there seems to be greater and greater decreases. We're losing so many of our freedoms, and there seems to be a lack of respect for our U.S. Constitution, a lack of respect for the rule of law.
Okay. Next question. Would there be meetings, gatherings of citizens in your district or area to solve issues?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are often referred to as town hall meetings. Town hall meetings are an opportunity for people in a certain region or district to get together at the neighborhood level, very much the neighborhood level or at the county level. And it's an opportunity for the residents of the area to meet their representatives, whether it's the U.S. House of Representatives, or your U.S. senators, your state senators, your county judges, your county officials. Town hall meetings are wonderful, and I absolutely plan to organize town hall meetings to give people an opportunity to meet me and to share their concerns with me as well.
Right. The next question is there issues you would bring to the Washington, D.C. that needs investigated to improve in South Texas areas that you represent?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As a JP judge, one of the things that I'm known for is that I love the U.S. Constitution and I promote the U.S. Constitution. I work with juveniles as well as adults, and one of the things that I do with juveniles as well as adults is I issue them a challenge, and I call it the Judge's Challenge. And I issue each one of them a small pocket constitution, and I ask them to read it, to look at it, and to get to know it because it's such a precious document. And one of the things I do is I ask them to write the first 10 amendments verbatim, word for word, in their own handwriting. And then I ask them to go back and rewrite those first 10 amendments in their own words. And then they come back and they visit with me in my courtroom, and we talk about what those things mean.
Okay. Next question. First day in office, any bills or ideals you would like accomplished?
That's a great question, too. I've been thinking about that, and there is not one single bill or one single issue at this point that I would focus on. Being a freshman congresswoman, I'm going to be very respectful to the other people also on the floor. I'm going to be very respectful to other Congress people who have been there much longer than I have. And I will visit with them and I will get to know them. And yes, I do have a plan for the first 100 days.
All right. My question, this is just off the record. I mean, not off the record, but it was just me. What other, as a judge, what other stuff did you have available in your as being a judge?
What other duties did I have?
What other duties? There you go.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, as a justice of the peace judge in the state of Texas, we have duties and responsibilities on both civil cases and criminal cases. And on the civil side, that's things like evictions, small claims suits, debt claims suits. And on the criminal side, those are things like speeding tickets, minors in possession of illegal substances, even the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Most of those offenses are considered Class C misdemeanors. And a Class C misdemeanor is the highest of the criminal offenses that our office gets to hear those cases.
I wanted to bring you back to the immigration part. As being a U.S. Congresswoman, what would you accomplish at the border if this is a question also that a couple of people would like to know about? What would you do to improve the border?
Oh, man. First, I believe we need to build the wall. We need to finish building the wall. I think that's the most important thing. The other thing is that we need to enforce the rules that we already have on the books. We have in America the concept of the rule of law. The rule of law is that we are all equal under the law. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes.
And if we would simply enforce the rules that are already there. I can share with you that back in 1990, when I was very young, I had just graduated from college, I chose to go to Taiwan. I wanted to live in a foreign country.
Wow.
And teach English. And I chose to go and live in the country of Taiwan. And I complied with every requirement that was asked of me in order to go and live and work in that foreign country. I had to get my passport. I had to get some immunizations. I had to fill out all of the documentation. I had an alien registration card. I did everything that was asked of me in order to work legally in a foreign country. And I believe that's what the people in Mexico and Guatemala and all of the other countries, people, citizens from other countries, when they come to the United States of America, I believe that they are drawn here because of our rule of law, because of our U.S. Constitution, because of the things that we already have in place. And by not holding people accountable to that is not doing anybody any favors. I think that we need to be true and we need to be honest and we need to ask people to respect the sovereignty of the United States of America because that's important. Let me ask you a question. Do you leave your house, when you leave your house, do you leave your doors locked or unlocked?
I lock them all the time
Why do you do that?
because my belongings, my privacy, my stuff in there is it's a lot of stuff that nobody knows about that I want to keep secret, but also the stuff I bought that I invested in to have at my home because I want it secure all the time. And that's why, I put a lock on the door.
You want people to respect your privacy?
Yes, ma'am.
You want people to respect your personal property?
Yes.
You want people to respect your freedoms and your rights?
Oh, yes, definitely. Most definitely.
But do you sometimes let people come into your home?
Not really. Maybe the landlord or maybe my next door neighbor, which we got a close tie and I can trust him because I help him also. But he asked me to come in his house and I drop off, you know, because I help him with food or stuff and I'll drop it off. But he trusts me. But he also, when I said, let's go to the store, I give him a ride. He locks his door. I said, we're just going down the street. He says, I'm going to lock my door because I don't want nobody going in. And that's the thing. It's just security. And that's what, now I know what you mean. And that's security, our border. And that's what we need because we don't know who's coming in. Um, a few from Saudi Arabia already came in and we don't even know about where they're at.
Over 1 million people have illegally crossed our borders in the past year. Are we taking their names? Are we checking their backgrounds? Are we checking their immunizations? Do they have a passport?
Yeah.
Are they filling out the alien registrations? Are they filling things out? Are we being able to keep up with them? Do we know who they are?
No, not at all.
Would you invite just anybody off the street into your home?
Oh, no, definitely not.
What are some basic things you would like to know about people that you invite into your home?
I know who they are, know the respect. I understand them, and the security part is like, if I know that I'm not supposed to, I won't let them in. But you got a point there, and it's a violation, when somebody comes in without my permission, and
You feel violated? Is
yeah,
that what you're
very
saying?
bad, very bad, and I would ask them, "What are you doing here?" And I really can't say nothing about that, but we're, as an American citizen, yes, I gotta ask them, why is this happening? Because they're gonna flood over here. They're not immunizations. They're not getting the shots. They're not getting. We don't know what they have. Is it discrimination? Is it racist? No, it's just you don't know what's going on in their life, and in order to get a job at McDonald's, you got to fill out that application, and that application says, well, you got the job because I found out who you are and what you're about, and I got your health certificate, so you're ready to go. Can you start Monday? And I wanted to throw that in also as but the border, it's gotta be secured.
Exactly. As an American citizen, I tell people America is my home. This is where I live. As a Texan, Texas is my home. This is where I live. District 15, this is my home. This is where I live. And I'm very, very proud of being an American citizen. I'm very, very proud of being a Texan. It's the greatest privilege on the planet to be born as an American citizen. I have friends from China. I have friends from India. I
Mm-hmm.
have friends from lots of different countries, and they're all so proud to be here. They love being here. They've done their due diligence. They've done what needed to be done to become American citizens or to work here legally. They have jumped through all those hoops. They have done what is asked of them. And they love it here too. And I welcome them as my neighbors. They've become friends of mine. I welcome them into my home.
Yes, yes. I got like I say, a few friends from China and India, and to tell you the truth, I ask them, "Do you want to go back?" They go, "No." They go, "No." I'm sorry to say, but our government's not the way it is in the United States. This is freedom. This is patriotism, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no. I'm not discriminating when I say patriotism. I'm saying it's freedom, liberty.
Do you know what the definition of patriotism is?
Oh, she got me. Okay, what is it?
Patriot, that's one of the words. I have a list of 15 words that I ask students to define these words, and I ask them to not use their online dictionaries. I say to please use a paper dictionary. I show them a paper dictionary, a hard copy dictionary, and I show them how to find the copyright date. And I tell them the older the copyright date, the better. I love old things. I'm a history buff, and I love history, and I love that we can go back and say, this is what happened on this day, and this is what this word means on this day. If you look up the word patriot in the Webster's Dictionary, most of them will simply say, one who loves his or her country.
Oh my God, that's very touching. Um, as if you get elected as a congressperson, would you have these to offer again, like you're talking about? You know, like a booklet or a pamphlet for that. It would be nice.
Oh, honey, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have handed out thousands of copies of the little pocket constitution. In fact, I have one right over there in my purse that I've used for years and years. And I give out the pocket size U.S. Constitution. They're provided free by the Department of Transportation. And everyone who comes to my office, whether they're there to pay for a ticket or file an eviction or to dispute a citation, whatever it is, every single person that comes through my courtroom is offered a U.S. Constitution. And it's just the most beautiful book. It really is. And it's not hard to read. It's not difficult. It's not at all difficult.
Other than the immigration, like if you were to in Washington D.C., what would be a first new bill or a new law that you would like to accomplish or to get it started?
I believe energy independence, if we can go back to that, energy independence is primary. If we have to rely on foreign countries to provide our oil and gas, if we have to rely on a foreign country to run our businesses, our highways, our transportation, our airlines, think about all the things that oil and gas does. Think about all of the ways that we use oil and gas. Think about how important that is in our everyday lives. Not just me personally. I have to fill up the tank on my little pickup truck to go to work every week. I go through maybe a tank of gas every 8 to 10 days. I have to fill up. It's about $50 for me to fill up the tank on my little truck.
Go.
And yes, that's one thing. But we use petroleum in makeup, in hand lotions, in fabrics. Petroleum is used in almost everything. I mean, there's just so many products. Look at this right in here in front of us. How many of these products are byproducts or used byproducts of the petroleum and gas industry?
Yes, there's a lot of stuff like that. I noticed why I asked that question again is because we had the oil boom, and then all of a sudden everything it's quiet, and
Why
I'm
did that
wondering
happen?
what. Yeah, I was wondering what happened, and I'm glad you answered that question. My other question was, is what did you, where are you from? What where do you live, and how big a family do you have here?
Thank you for asking. I love my family. I was born in San Antonio, Texas, and I was raised in Floresville, Texas. I attended Floresville High School, Floresville Independent School District, first grade through 12th grade. I'm a hometown girl. And goodness gracious, I have lived overseas. I lived in Chiayi, Taiwan for 2 years. I taught English as a second language there. I've also lived in Panama City, Florida. I love Panama City, Florida. The beaches there are just beautiful. And I moved back to Texas in 2001. I have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. They have all decided to get married and leave home. And I've been so blessed this past Christmas. I was able to meet all 3 of my grandchildren. I have 3 grandchildren that were all born in the last year. I have a 9 month old, a 5 month old, and a 4 month old. And they live in Minnesota, Amarillo, Texas, and Japan. My daughter married a U.S. Air Force airman, and they live in Japan right now.
Oh wow. Um, I was gonna ask, who is this Jim Miller?
Jim Miller is my campaign manager.
Oh, okay.
He owns a business in Floresville, Texas called Eagle Ford Signs. I've known
Wow.
him for years and years. And actually, he called me on the phone on October 19th and he said, "Hey, did you notice?" Did I notice what? I haven't turned the TV on yet. He said, "Did you notice that the congressional districts have been redistricted based on the 2020 census? Wilson County is no longer in Congressional District 28. District 28 is Henry Cuellar. The congressman for District 28 is Henry Cuellar. And I've known Henry Cuellar for a long time. I think he's done a fair enough job representing Wilson County. And until in 2010, Wilson County, 1/3 of it was redistricted into 15 and 2/3 stayed in District 28. And now with the redistricting, we have 0% of District 28. We are 100% within District 15. And whenever Jim Miller told me, "Hey, we are now in District 15, I was so excited because I figured that would probably be an empty seat very soon. And sure enough, it is now an empty seat. And there are 9 Republicans running for that seat, and there are 8 Democrats running for that seat. So when people ask me, who am I running against? The answer is nobody.
No.
That is an open seat in the U.S. Congress.
Oh
And
wow.
I would love the opportunity to represent my congressional district in Washington, D.C.
Right. Who's you got friends here that came with you, Dave, and who's the other lady?
Miss Lynette Shaw.
All right.
She's also from Floresville. Dave Lucky and Adrian Arbizu. Adrian is on my campaign staff. He is my treasurer as well as my chaplain. And Dave Lucky is part of our security team.
All right. Yeah, Adrian, I met him a while a couple of months ago. Then I got sick, but there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of motivation, a lot of stuff that he gave me that brought me to working better for myself, not self-esteem, but business wise, so I'm happy about that. But your first day in Washington, I know you'll be in will you be at the Washington D.C., the capital itself, or uh, someone asked me this, and that's why I wanted to ask you. But where would you go as the start of a congresswoman?
It would be on the floor of the House of
The House of
Representatives.
Representatives. I thought
Correct.
they were saying she go straight to Washington D.C. I said I don't know. The thing is, people ask sometimes, and They email me. They didn't know who you were, but I told them what district you were in. And so, oh, well, I got family out there. And that's one thing about here in San Antonio that a lot of people see this show, and Judge Sarah Cannon, she's going to represent District 15. Well, they says, hey, we don't live there, but we got family that live out
That's
there.
right. If you have family in Guadalupe County, Wilson, Carnes, Live Oak, Jim Wells, Brooks, or Hidalgo County, there's a really good chance that they will also be able to vote for me in the Republican primary. And remember, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Oh, what a
Wow.
romantic date. Take your date to the poll. Go and vote early
Mm,
on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2022.
all right. I want to thank. I took Adrian there to Bamboo Restaurant. Grace, Clarissa, Anna, and he got the mojito bilbo. One day I'll take you there so you can understand. The guy's got a degree in nutritional, so a lot of vegan vegetarians go there. But it's a wonderful Americanized Chinese restaurant, and I want to say thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
Thank you
inviting
for
me.
all the questions that the citizens want to know. And like I say, some people that live here in San Antonio got family that live out there in District 15. And I want to say to everybody, thank you for joining the show. Young Generation Presents. I'm your host, Jim Perales. This is Judge Sarah Canady running for Congresswoman of District 15.
I think rolling across the screen is my name and email and website. Please go to the website, go to send me an email, and I will definitely try very, very hard. I will do the best that I can to respond to you as quickly as possible. I usually say give me at least 2 days to respond to your email. But you can learn a lot more about the issues, about the geographical location.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice night.